I'm Sebastiaan Berendse, the Corporate Director of Value Creation at Wageningen University Research. And I've been able to do so for the past 5 years. Before this, there was no department, Value Creation. Yet, getting our research results, education results into practice was always one of the core activities of Wageningen. And ever since we've erected this department 5 years ago, we're keen to strive and really build the foundations of the world of tomorrow with the knowledge of today that we generate through research and education. That's also why StartHub Wageningen is such an integral part of what we do at Wageningen. We do not only educate and inspire students, PhDs, as well as employees to think more entrepreneurial, but also to consider what needs to be done to get great ideas into application. Because getting things into application is not that easy. Startups can be one of the ways, so that's also why StartHub is not only a place for ideation and inspiration, but also a great place to start your company as a student startup or a potential spin-off of work. If we look into sustainable entrepreneurship, there are various ways of looking into what is sustainability, of course. But my personal understanding actually is that we need not only bright minds with great ideas, but also with people who have a very social and responsible way of looking into solving the challenges that we face. And that is what we really foster here at StartHub. The pitches, for example, are done on the Sustainable Development Goals 𝘧𝘰𝘮𝘀. Always done because you have to consider as a potential entrepreneur or as a great project leader, maybe not ever going towards a startup, but still considering the translation of that solution that that project provides for society. It also needs to move the world, really help the transitions that we work on make place and happen in such a way that it's not only providing solutions to the direct question, but also empowering people, making societal impact in a wider sense than just selling goods and services. So actually, if you look into the past and you consider where this startup come from, several years ago it started relatively small, with actually two main aims in mind. Can we find more and more students and PhDs, and here and there also a colleague that is considering becoming an entrepreneur, then please let them be inspired, but also trained and coached by StartHub, because becoming an entrepreneur is not easy. Second goal was, if there are so many great ideas, how can we then form more teams and more individuals that really pick up those ideas and translate them into direct solutions for society at large. So can we foster more startups? And can we foster more mindset, skill set with our students and PhDs and employees, that this translational process is also challenging, but being an entrepreneur is a great thing to do, and being so focused is a great thing to learn. So these two elements were the first stepping stones on which StartHub was created. And ever down the road, with many student startups founded, but potentially way more impact, because we have nowadays over 1,200 students that call on the door annually at StartHub. There are way more people that we reach than the startups that are in the end then founded. And that's a great result of StartHub down the road if you look into what we've been accomplishing in the past years. Well, if we would like to leap forward and see what StartHub will be doing in the upcoming, say, 5 years, let's see what we're here today for. And what we've brought together at the Hub is not only StartLife as the national and international accelerator, together with the more inward-looking StartHub for our students, PhDs and entrepreneurs or entrepreneur colleagues, but we've also brought in the student challenge teams, as well as we've got a great location for entrepreneurial education. So one of the key elements for the upcoming 5 years is really reach over 80% of our students in all bachelor and master courses with, or bachelor and master programs with entrepreneurial courses. And we would like to do so because each and everyone who is studying here at Wageningen right now will be a change maker in the generations to come. And being a change maker also holds a responsibility to consider not only great solutions and divulge great science, but also think about how this science and these results then are practically, implementably brought to the transitions that we need to make. And this translation type of thinking, what's needed, what capacity, what people, what type of partners, what type of funding do you need to really make those ideas live in the upcoming generations. That's what we'd like to foster, and which is why we'd like to engage with almost all students in all bachelor and master programs with entrepreneurial cultures. And that's what's taking place here. We're nowhere near those 80% yet, but we're getting there because there's so much more students knocking on our door who would like to have that in their programs, but also program directors who would like to have that in their programs. Because all of our students are change makers in the years that they have before them if they leave us as an alumnus. Secondly, if we look, say, 5 years ahead, I really would like to have more giving back of the entrepreneurs that started here. By not only being a mentor, we already have great mentors of entrepreneurs that either studied here years ago or made their business in this field. But I would really love to see more entrepreneurs that were part of StartHub in the past years and in the upcoming years come back, maybe fund nascent student startups with pre-seed funding or help those companies really hit the ground running so that they will grow and become a sustainable business in the long run. And thirdly, what I really would like to see in a couple of years' time is that the companies that were erected here or were coached are strong and have grown to such an extent that they are seen as examples of Wageningen does the best education there is in our field, does the best research that there is in our field, but also is home to very inspiring entrepreneurs that build up great companies and are an example to others to come to study here, but also to others to come and consider entrepreneur mindset, skill set, and maybe become an entrepreneur themselves as part of making an impact for society. The call to action to our students and PhDs. Well, if you have a great idea and are considering translating that idea into practice, then do come to StartHub and be coached or be inspired in one of the programs that we run, but also file for one of the entrepreneurial courses. It's great to consider what needs to be done to really make your idea live in practice. Might be through a startup, might be through all other kinds of routes, but do come by, get trained, get coached, and see how you can make a difference with the great ideas that you have.